So good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is Nikymus, and I welcome you to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking empath free. If it's your first time here and narcissism resonates with you, I encourage you to join us. Like the page, share it with your friends, subscribe. If you have been with me, if you have always been with me, you are welcome back, and I thank you for your continued love and support. I wish everybody a nice week. I hope you woke up well, and I wish your week is gonna go as planned. And may you also live to experience your life's deepest desires. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about the golden child. But before I talk about the golden child, I've really thought about this video. I think the whole of last night, I was contemplating on this video because, like I said, my video is not only watched by my fans, it is also watched. My videos are not only watched by the fans, they're also watched by friends, by family. So if you're a member out there, whether you've been my friend or whatever, previous friend or whatever, or even sometimes if you're my family member, these videos that I make, they might actually trigger some individuals. And triggering, I do not intend to trigger people. I've always mentioned it in my videos. I do not intend to trigger people. It's just because I have decided to come out and stand in my authenticity and speak about the truth. Because the truth has got to come out. It is only through the truth that we get healing, whether it is the victims who have been in abuse, we get healing, and as well as you healing, you also help heal other individuals and as well awaken other individuals who might be in those patterns and that they're not even aware of. So they are not intended. These triggers are not intended. It is just an organic video. I come out organically and I speak. So you may find one or two things that are triggering you. I'm not specifically aiming at you. You have always got to understand this. Now, the video I did last week, that was the video about the scapegoat. That video triggered some kind of another awakening. Like I've said, when you awaken, it is not only after awakening after abuse. You're also going to start awakening to other different things. So you might start awakening to other workmates in a job, to your bosses. You may start awakening to your family, even sometimes closest friends. So most of the times you're going to find these awakenings going on and on and on. Even me personally, I do not say that I've completely awakened, like I've fully awakened, because like I said, I'm on the ascension journey. So on the ascension journey, along the ascension journey, you're going to experience very many different types of awakenings. I have recently awakened to the fact that I've been a black sheep. I had to sit by myself to digest this. I had to sit by myself to understand, because like I said, normally after the awakening, I started doing a lot of introspection because I wanted to understand this problem of narcissism. Was it only the narcissist, or was it something to do with my like my life history, like how things have been going on in my life? So that is why I actually introspected, and I noticed that actually this whole thing of me going around with narcissists and everything, it has actually been some kind of a cycle. So it is a cycle that has been going on and on subconscious level. That's why I never actually found out knew what was really going on. But I noticed that actually this pattern had always been going on ever since I was a child. It has kept on following me until eventually I received my awakening after meeting the narcissist. So I'm going to do another video, because during my introspection as well, during my previous awakening, I noticed that there is still some more things that discoveries I made about being a black sheep in the family, and I'm still going to come out at some point, maybe sometime this week, I guess. And we're going to go a little bit deeper into this thing of the black sheep and all the dynamics, what goes on in the home of the black sheep. So basically, you have got to understand that we have got members, different family members in a home, who play different roles. So you're going to find things I've also discovered recently. You're going to find a member who plays the role of the black sheep, who are most of us the empaths, most of us who have actually awakened. You're also going to find people who are playing the role of the golden child. And on top of that, you're also going to find members who will play the role of the golden child. And other members, then we have also got the enabling parent on top of the narcissistic parent. They also have on the side an enabling parent. An enabling parent. So basically, what I've come to realize about the golden child, these children, they are those kids in the family who are very, very highly favored. I had a chance to experience firsthand a golden child myself when I was with the narcissist. I experienced that there was this kid who was very, very highly favored. And for some reason, we would find ourselves doing different things in the home, like maybe sometime doing a little bit of pieces of work or whatever. And for some reason, I noticed that this black child was always the other kid who was actually not allowed even to lift a plate or a cup or something like that. So even sometimes cleaning around the house, it was very, very difficult to get the child to do anything. It wouldn't make sense to me why all of a sudden this kid was very, very highly favored, you know. So all the people in the home are doing something, maybe participating in the home activities or whatever, but there was always this child who was very difficult, who was just sitting comfortably in their zone doing their different things, and they were never asked to do anything in the home. So most of the times, it has also reflected back in my family as well. I've noticed that in my family there were also golden children, because my family is a huge one. I'm not going to go into the details of the whole dynamics, but I've experienced also children that were actually golden children. So those golden children, basically, only thing I knew is that those children were very highly favored by the narcissistic parent. Those children, they are very highly favored in the family. You'll find them getting praises from uncles, from relatives, from whatever, and sometimes even you'll find them that they are the ones who actually do the least of the work. So it's like, as other people are running up and down, trying to fix different things, those golden children, I think they call them golden children because it is like they are the untouchables. I would like to use the word untouchable. They are the children that you cannot even talk about. Anytime you mention anything about them, it has got to be a good thing. So whenever you try to criticize them, or even sometimes to point fingers at them, you're always going to be attacked by the narcissistic parent. So it is going to always turn out bad with you. You're going to find them highly favored in that family. So basically, those golden children, one thing I've come to realize is that the golden children, their childhood is interrupted as much as the other kids. Like I've said, the lost child and the scapegoat, the black sheep. The golden child's life is always interrupted, and in a very, very bad way, because the golden child, most of the cases, they are very much their growth is always interrupted by the parent. That we're talking about the narcissistic parent. So you'll find the narcissistic parent favoring them, and actually I'm finding the right word to use. They will highly favor them, and they will actually prevent them from growing up into like normal independent adults. You know what I mean? So those children, they are usually going to be reliant, because you see, the problem with the favorism is that when you're favoring these kids, sometimes you're denying them to see the things they should see, because sometimes it's like you're blinding their eyes. Psychologically, you're blinding their eyes. The narcissistic parents in this matter, they blind their children's eyes, and those children, they cannot see the reality of the whole situation. They see things, it's like their parents are the eyes. You know what I mean? Those narcissistic parents, they are the eyes. So they're the ones actually who are controlling them. They are under very, very high, very, very, very major control from the narcissistic parents. So those parents, they are blinding those children from actually from growing into normal independent adults. So in one way or the other, you're going to find them growing up, and at the end of the day, when they become independent, when they decide to find independence, to start living by themselves, when they start to maybe get into marriages, go on with their life or whatever, they're going to find it very difficult to survive, because they have usually grown up. Most of the time, they have even adopted along the way. They have adopted the characters of the narcissistic parent, because those golden children, they are highly favored by the narcissistic parent. So usually along their path, along their journey, they also tend up to pick up a lot of traits, a lot of these traits from their parents, from the parents who have brought them up for that matter, and they are going to adopt most of their characters, because they are going to be seeing what their parents are doing, and they are going to be brainwashed to think that actually whatever their parents are doing, that is actually the truth. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, behind the scene, those parents, they are very, very strongly destroying those children. And I've seen myself as well a lot of golden children who have grown up, and at the end of the day, they have turned out to be the narcissist, because it looks like behind the scenes, even that those children, they don't know, it looks like behind the scenes, those children are being trained and are being brought up to carry out the role of the narcissistic parent. Should it happen like the narcissistic parents don't exist anymore, you're going to find those golden children actually playing part of their roles, taking up their roles. But like I've always said, guys, in my videos, this whole thing is happening subconsciously. So these children, they are taken up by surprise. They are taken up subconsciously. They do not know what is going on, because they are programmed the same way the scapegoats and the black sheep, they are programmed, And the same way the lost child is, everybody in that family is programmed from birth. And even then, what is even making the whole thing worse is that the parents themselves who are actually programming those children, they themselves, they have not yet awakened. They are not awakened to the truth that actually they are in a very, very dysfunctional family. You know what I mean? So most of the times you'll find all the blames from the whole family. So for example, the last time I did the video about the scapegoat, and you're going to find in those families that instead of blaming the golden child for something, they could do something. They could shit all over the house. They could spill milk all over the house, on the table, whatever. They could actually do a lot of funny things in the home. But should you attempt to point a finger at those children, you're going to face the wrath of the narcissist. That's when you're going to see the mother, if they're the narcissist, or the father, they're going to come in and attack you actually for no apparent reason. So most of the times, the diversion, there are a lot of diversions in that family. All the BS and all the mess that is carried out by other family members, it is going to actually land on the scapegoat. So even those golden children, they are going to do a lot of mess in their lives. And that is why I believe that the golden children, their lives are very strongly interrupted by narcissistic parents, because they do not know what to do. They don't know what choices to make in life. They don't know the proper things, the proper decisions they should make. And at the end of the day, their life tends to be interrupted because they are going to see other family members doing something different. They may try to come even sometime, because like I've said, all this thing is happening subconsciously. So they may decide to come in and do other things what other people are doing. But because they still hold that position of a golden child, they are not going to be accepted to participate in other activities. So you see them relaxing. Other people are doing things. They are somewhere relaxing, enjoying their life, or doing something else or whatever. And for them, it's like they seem like actually they are the ones who are operating under the narcissist. So whatever the narcissist does, most of those golden children, they are also growing up in that system, in that programming, because the narcissist is showing them subconsciously that actually this is how we play, this is how we do things. They're also showing them other members in the family who is playing different roles. They're telling them whatever is going on, that is the member responsible. Whatever is going on, that is the member responsible. So you are not responsible for whatever reason. Anything they do, any mess they do, they are not responsible. The responsibility is always reflected back, usually to the black sheep or even to the scapegoat. So those children, what I've realized, the golden children, when they're growing up, it becomes very difficult. You find them getting into relationships. Sometimes when they grow up, they become adults. It's going to be very difficult for them because they have got this very, very strong magnetic attachment to their parents. They have got a very strong magnetic attachment to their family. And it is very difficult for them to live an independent life. You'll see them, those are the children, sometimes you see them going out there, they meet girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever. Sometimes even they want to get married. They get married for 2 months, they come back home. They are divorced or even sometimes they are separated. They go into relationships, they stay there about 1 or 2 years, they come back to the house. So they are always back and forth because they have got a very strong, I don't know if I can use the word trauma bond. It's like a very, very strong bond with their parents, those narcissistic parents. Those narcissistic parents have programmed them that they are the gold, they are the jewels of the family. And wherever they go, this thing also keeps on reflecting back to them in their lives, in their adulthoods when they grow up. That thing keeps on reflecting back to their lives, echoing back to their lives, in their lives when they move on as adults. So they cannot get into relationships. It is very difficult. And even then, even if they get into relationships, it is going to be very difficult for them because now eventually those boyfriends or even sometimes their partners, they are going to start showing them how things are supposed to be done. But remember that these are children who have been programmed. They have been the jewels in their family. So those partners are going to start actually trying to even sometimes getting them involved in some things. And believe me, it is not going to work. They are going to try to tell them to go to work or even sometimes to find a normal job to work. They are going to go to the job. They are going to do the job 1 or 2, 3 months. They are going to come back and sit at home because that is the only thing they have been known to do when they were in their families. So this whole thing is a setup, and it's a thing that has been programmed very, very deep within their subconscious. And I've been doing a lot of research this weekend. I noticed that actually these children, they never heal. Most of these grandchildren, golden children, they never heal from this. They can always keep stay the rest of their lives either in that pattern or even sometimes they can have very, very strong narcissistic traits because those traits, they have been simply and deeply programmed from the time when they were children. So it is going to be very difficult for them to get into standard normal relationships and even sometimes to carry on their life after adulthood when they grow into adults. So it's going to be very difficult for them with their partners, first of all, even sometimes with their children. They are going to carry on the legacy because that legacy they have picked up from their narcissistic parents. It is going to also reflect in their children. It is going to reflect in their grandchildren. So you are going to see a whole family of you're going to see them having families, and those families, whatever they have picked up, whatever they have learned along the way, it is also going to reflect in their own children when they grow up as adults. But even then, on top of that, it is going to be very difficult for them to live a normal life, to live a standard life like everybody else. They are going to really struggle, especially when we're talking about relationships. They are going to struggle very hard to maintain a very long-term standing relationship. It is going to be very difficult. So they are either going to struggle, or even sometimes they are either going to be in that relationship, they are going to be the narcissists themselves. So most of those grandchildren, like I've said, this video is going to trigger some people. I know some people are going to get highly triggered, but if you're a golden child, I can guarantee you that it is very highly, you're strongly narcissistic, and you have strongly carried on the legacy of your narcissistic parents who brought you up, because you have been simply programmed and trained to do things in a certain way, and nobody can say or do things otherwise. It is only you and your choices you make. You know what I mean? So they grow up, like I've said, they grow up into very strong narcissists. They grow up into to become to become the reflection of their narcissistic parents. So the only way, what I believe and what I think, and what also something I've done a little bit I've done a little bit of research. The only way that those grandchildren, they are able to that is if they have not really come out to be strongly narcissist. They could have the narcissist traits, but at the end of the day, they could heal. But healing can only come at that point whereby an individual in that family has awakened. We are talking about the black sheep in this family, the scapegoat. When the scapegoat awakens, because number one, when the scapegoat awakens, which video I'm going to do later on, we are going to come to that video later on in this week. Normally that scapegoat will come out of that family. The first thing the scapegoat does will come out of the family, because for them it's easy to get out of the family, because they have always been isolated anyway. So for them, it's not a new thing to get out and start their own life or whatever, because they have not have strong attachments to that family the same way the golden children have always been. So the golden children have a problem to detach from their families, but the scapegoat always comes out, because the scapegoat is usually the first one to awaken, because the scapegoats, they are the truth tellers, they are the seers, they are the ones who see everything. They are the truth tellers in that family. So they awaken and they step out. So most of the time, what I've realized is that when they step out of that family, of that entire family, those golden children, now that's when they are going to see, because there is going to be a gap in that family dynamics. There's going to be a gap, and most of the children around, including the other narcissistic siblings and whatever, the golden children, they're going to start to see the gap that actually those people, those scapegoats, have been feeling in that family. And that is what usually, it has happened very rarely, but I know still some cases have happened whereby the golden children have eventually come out and actually reconnected with the scapegoat, and actually started to get the whole sense of everything, whatever. But the only thing that can happen for a golden child to actually start even sometime to reform themselves, even sometime to do things right, although like I've said, it is very difficult for them to get their lives back together, because they have completely lost their identity for a long period of time. So they start to gather up things back together, put things back together in place, even sometimes try to reclaim their identity, but it takes a very long period of time. They need a lot of therapy, they need a lot of help to get back their identity, their original identity, before those narcissistic parents turn them into something else. So they will come and reconnect with the black sheep. That is if they have contact with them, they will come and reconnect. It is and again, like I've said, it is a very rare situation that the black sheep will eventually later on connect, but it has happened as well that the black sheep will actually always connect with the golden child, and they'll sit down together and actually reflect back on everything and try to understand this thing on a deeper level. So in this video, that's all I wanted to say, people. The golden child, the most favored child, the jewel of the family, the untouchable, those are the children who have it the most difficult. On top of other people, including the enabling parent, the lost child, and the scapegoat, the golden child, they're the people who are highly dysfunctional, because they have taken up everything from their parents. So most likely those individuals, they're already narcissists. Actually, by the time they grow up into adults, they have already become narcissists, even sometimes subconsciously, that they don't know it. Most of them, they can awaken later on to the fact that actually they're actually the problem. Believe me, I've seen it along my journey. I've seen golden children who have ended up becoming even narcissists themselves. So in this video, I would like to know in the comment section below if you know about a family, because I think most of my channel has a lot on this channel. I've got a lot of scapegoats and black sheep on this channel. Even sometimes I've got lost children. So if you know a family that has actually involved, if you've seen a golden child in your family, or even sometimes in the family, I would like to know in the comment section below, how do you view those children at this moment? We're talking about at this moment in time. If you have known them for a long period of time, how do you view them now? Have they become the narcissists? Are they the ones with the narcissistic traits? Are they the untouchable? Are they still the untouchables? Or what exactly is your experience, and what exactly have you seen along your journey? I would like to know in the comment section below. Other than that, people, it's been a lovely day to have you guys on board. Much love and blessings. Let me know what you think about this. And Desmond signing out. Peace out.